Let me talk to you. That was really cringy, but I'm going to leave it in there. I was trying to sound like L.A. Knight. Didn't work out. That's okay. Off to the topic at hand. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns. The draft. The story. Will it ever end? Has it been ended? Will the saga ever continue? And I don't know how they're going to do it. Because now I'm really confused, and I wasn't initially, because I didn't give it too much thought when the draft happened. I was too cooped up with, oh yeah, Roman Reigns on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes on Raw. Who cares? Pay-per-views happen all the time, and they mingle people from both brands together and all this kind of stuff and whatnot. And ooh, what's happening to the Usos? They haven't drafted them yet, and I'm wondering what's going to happen with that. And then I got to thinking, what the hell are they thinking? Roman Reigns is the Universal Champion. That's that blue belt. The black one's the WWE Heavyweight Champion belt. The new belt is the World's Heavyweight Championship belt. And the problem with the new belt is it carries no fucking weight. It's got no history. The new one, that is. As a whole, in general, sure, the World's Heavyweight Championship belt has been held by a plethora, a cornucopia, a quiver of different wrestling superstars throughout the decades. But the problem is Roman Reigns has solidified himself as basically, is his name Thanos? The dude with the Infinity Gauntlet and all the funky gems, okay? You grab one of them little diamonds or maybe the belt strap, one of the little pins, and you put it on a scale, a little pin. Okay? And then you put the World's Heavyweight Championship belt on the other side. You would think the weight would make that little pin off one of his belts go, nah. Hell, the side plate alone. Send the other belt flying. I love Cody Rhodes so much. It is unbelievable. One of my favorite wrestling superstars of all time throughout all generations in the course of my entire life that I have been eyeballing professional wrestling. I want Cody Rhodes to be like Superman. And I want the new World's Heavyweight Championship belt. I keep saying new so that, okay? I want the new belt to be like Kryptonite. And Cody's Superman. He cannot be allowed to win that championship. That's not how you finish. I did that twice. I only needed to do it. Finish the story. It has to be dethroning Roman Reigns. They've already started doing a good back and forth story-wise. It's organic. It's developing. Okay? Then they had their chance at Mania. Obviously, that didn't go according to plan, or what we thought was going to be the plan. Now, rumor has it, get a hold of this. They want to push Roman Reigns so far up there, past the moon and the stars, that we may have a repeat at WrestleMania 40 of Cody Rhodes going up against Roman Reigns. What I don't understand is why they still have Roman with two belts. He is he's both, but he's only ever referred to as the Universal Champion. That's the blue belt, because SmackDown blue, remember that? And then the Raw Champion, the red belt. I don't even know what happened to the red belt. I'm not going to lie. There's too many fucking belts. I remember back in the day, if Hogan was champion, if Macho Man Randy Savage was champion, if Bret Hart was champion, or whatever, even Bob Backlund, back when I was a kid watching wrestling, and he was champion when it was the WWWF, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. A lot of W's in there. Okay? It was simple. You had your heavyweight champion, you had your intercontinental champion, and then you had your tag team belts. But the shows from week to week used to suck. They're nostalgic to look back on now, sure, but you were never going to see a Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior kind of match. It was always squash matches all the time. It was always a big name versus a local talent. You always knew who was going to win. And it was ridiculous. It wasn't until in somewhat recent memory that you have Seth Rollins versus The Miz caliber matches, match after match after match, night after night, week after week, okay? It was just so much easier to keep up with. Now the World's Heavyweight Championship belt is also rumored to be potentially going to Seth Rollins, which I can see, because he absolutely fucking deserves it, okay? And he has no, like, story build-up with anyone. So him winning it, he now gets to begin starting his own legacy, right? Cody Rhodes now has put too much into the whole, I gotta finish the story. Sami Zayn didn't get to finish the story, which I still think in Montreal, Sami Zayn should have dethroned one of Roman Reigns' belt. They should have separated that shit. No? Do you not agree? Roman Reigns, and again, as a human being, I fucking love Roman Reigns. I love him. As a performer, I love him. The scripting, I always got to be sure that people understand. It's not the actual performer I don't like, unless it's Ryback. Fuck that guy. Fucking jackass. They should separate the belts. And whatever one he hasn't held as long, which I'm not going to lie right now off the top of my ADHD brain, I don't know which of the two belts he's held for almost 1,000 days and which one he's only had for 500-ish days. I think it's the black belt, actually. Or is it the blue? It's the blue one I think he's had the longest. And the black not as long. So if it's the black that's not as long, that's the one that should have went to Sami Zayn in Montreal with that whole story. It was the perfect setting. I truly believe he deserved it. Could have held it until Mania or whatever, lost against like Seth Rollins or something like that. And then at SummerSlam, they could have done the whole tag team. Like, I'm just talking out of my ass here. I'm just kind of, this is why I'm not a part of creative. I just feel like I'm so done with the part-timers and these long reigns. Like with Brock Lesnar was the same thing for a while. He was a part-timer. He was barely around. He was always getting the belt. The last person, in my opinion, and you probably won't agree, and it's okay. It's okay. The last person to hold the belt for any significant amount of time, and that was defending it. As a matter of fact, he's only held it for a fraction as long as, I think, Brock Lesnar has, like, at least in combined reign for a while, and Roman Reigns. It's fucking CM Punk. His 450-something day reign, I want to say 454, but that's a V8 engine. I don't think it was 454. But anyways, in that vicinity, okay? The amount of times that they booked CM Punk to wrestle while he was champion trumps, I think, Lesnar and Roman Reigns combined. Well, maybe not so much at this point now, but I know last year, sometime last year, CM Punk was way ahead in terms of how many matches he had wrestled. And that's the problem that I have with, fine, you want to have Roman be this God mode part-time, I come out of the shadows once in a while like the fucking Tooth Fairy and Santa Claus. That's great. Kinda. But you need to have both belts? Can you not lose one of them? Right? They're not combining the days that he's held both titles. They keep talking about the 974-day reign or whatever it is now at this point from, I think, the Universal Championship, the blue belt, the one that they refer to him as. They don't even refer to him as a double champion. But then Triple H said, wherever Roman goes, him and his belts go with him. When are they going to separate that shit? Instead, they confused us even more, at least me, with a new belt. Because they want to push this motherfucker even further. But then where does Cody fit into that? If they have them on two separate brands. I'm scared. Like, I'm scared. I'm petrified that Cody is going to get the World's Heavyweight Championship belt. I mean, I wouldn't be angry, but I'd be like, seriously? Seriously. At any time in my life, pushing almost 50 years old, I don't think I've ever been as confused in my whole life with the direction of wrestling and where things are going and where they could go. I remember back in the day, you know, WrestleMania 6, typical Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan in Toronto, Skydome, right? And then Warrior became double champ. Okay? He was both the heavyweight champion, and the Intercontinental champion. And then you can, as you do, you defend each one individually, right? You're a double champ. They never did that with Roman Reigns, and I get the unification thing. I don't understand why they ever did it, right? The tag team division, I sort of understand a bit more, because when you think about it and you look at reports and things like that, the word on the street is that the tag team division is so weak on one brand that they decided to kind of merge them together, and you have the tag champions go back and forth between SmackDown. Don't ask me what this is. SmackDown and Raw, because collectively between both brands, you've got a sort of kind of a decent amount of tag teams, but nothing compared to like the 80s and 90s and even early 2000s, okay? So that I can kind of understand more, but still, in the meantime, do you separate the tag team championship belts, or do you keep them the way they are until they grow that tag team division, and then finally, one day, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn perhaps lose. What show are they on now? I don't remember what show they're on. Are they on SmackDown or Raw? Let's say they're on Raw. Have them drop the SmackDown belts to a team, like maybe Randy Orton and, bro dude, Matt Riddle. They could win back the championship belts. And I think back then it was just the one set of titles. It wasn't until the Usos correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't until the Usos beat Matt Riddle and, I almost said Roman Reigns, and Randy Orton, that they became sort of unified, or they even considered unified. Again, I've never been so confused in my life, but I can understand it a bit more for the tag team division. This division is strong. I know some people are like, there should only be one main belt, and then that champion can go flip-flop between, whoever the champion is can flip-flop between both brands, and on pay-per-views once a month. Sorry, I'm itchy there. Once a month, you can have like a little, whatever, PLE, premium live event. Maybe the superstar, the champion, can lose the belt. But then I also was in favor of each brand having each their own champion. I'm not against that, I have to admit. I'm not against Raw having their champion, like the red belt. That was kind of cool. Get it? The red brand, red belt. That was kind of neat. I kind of like that, I have to admit. And then the design was the same. It wasn't like one's better than the other. And then sometimes you could have the champions face off against each other. Whatever. But this whole thing just confuses me. I just don't know what the end goal is now, because now we have 3 fucking main belts. Or do we? Someone's going to say, no, we only have 2. We have the Universal, the blue one, and now this new one. Great, but what happens if someday that blue belt goes on Raw? Are they just going to swap it out for the red one that went missing? I don't even know where that went. I remember when Finn Balor was the first one to win it. Then he had the shoulder injury, so you see my memory's not completely gone. And then the black one is just, I don't even know. Too many colors. Too many colors. I'm going to end it here because I'm running in circles. The main takeaway from this is I'm concerned from a creative standpoint where this is going to go, because Vince supposedly is still in charge. When the merge happens with the UFC is when Vince said he's not going to be middling in the weeds. But big things like this isn't the weeds. This is the big part of creative I think Vince is still going to be a part of. Don't forget, SmackDown is on Fox, Raw's on the USA Network. Supposedly those cable providers have some say. Hey, we're Fox. I would like Roman Reigns to be the, the centerpiece of your show on our network station, or whatever word they use there, right? So that's another thing I didn't know, that sort of stuff happens. And then USA Network can be like, hey man, we want Cody Rhodes or whatever. And then that's where Vincent Kennedy McMahon comes in and makes like sort of those big decisions. That's not Triple H, at least I don't think. In the end, Cody Rhodes is Superman. Even though Roman Reigns is the one that does the Superman punch, Cody Rhodes has to be Superman, and that World's Heavyweight Championship, the new one, to clarify, has to be his kryptonite. I think it would be a huge mistake. It'll just completely ruin everything. But if somebody like Seth Rollins won it, for me, that's a completely different story because now he can begin his own legacy, his own story, because Seth Rollins isn't in some kind of deep, intricate, organic storyline with somebody else that's champion. Even though there's history between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. Let's not get into that. Right? So let me know what you think down below. What do you think of the draft? Do you think they'll have Cody Rhodes chase and find his way on SmackDown? Do you think that should happen? Are you okay with Cody Rhodes winning the World's Heavyweight Championship belt, the new one? And what do you think of the supposed rumor of keeping Roman champion until WrestleMania 40? Another 11 months. What do you think of that and having a repeat main event between Cody and Roman at WrestleMania 40? I could have made this video in 2 minutes. To be honest with you, this is actually my second time recording it, and I actually prefer this one. I believe the video might actually be a little shorter. No, it's not. My last one was 14 minutes, but I forgot to turn my microphone on. Don't even ask, but I like this one more. I'm going to leave on a high note. As always, if you liked the video, thumbs up. It does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. You didn't like the video? Go ahead. Give it a thumbs down. I'll bend it in half, twist it, break it off in your ass as always. And if I'm lucky and you subscribe, that'd be great, but if not, whatever. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.